Okay, I think I'm back. Hold on a second. Well, that's still the wrong orientation. Oh, great, it's one of those days. Alright, we may have to go with what we got for today. Hold on a second while I get this back in my phone rack. I don't know why it's not going landscape for me, but it's being stubborn today again. But we're going to go with the flow here. I'm just trying to get the best view here. Why, oh, why does this happen? I'm just scooching my phone stand up here a little bit. I do apologize for all these technical problems. Seems like it's a normal thing every week. And I think my video is frozen. Alright, I think we can do this as long as I keep an eye on my video to make sure it stays put. We'll be okay. Alright, like I said, I want to welcome you to Creating Cards with Debbie. And if you want to shop any of the items that I'm showcasing today, you can shop in my store at www.debbiefoster.stampinup.net. And if your order is under $150, use the August host code, which is XJNYVMFQ. And that's also in the description of the video today. So you can get that there if you miss it when I'm saying it. And if you need to reach out and ask me any questions, just private message me on Facebook, or you can email me at creatingwithdebbie179@gmail.com. So let me put things aside here. Okay, Paper Pumpkin has started a new Paper Pumpkin for, this would be August. I always get confused. Yes, August Paper Pumpkin. It says, from the heart, make elegant note cards and treat boxes with this Paper Pumpkin kit as cute gifts for someone special. It's kind of giving you a sneak peek here. I think it's like for gift cards and such. I think is what these little note cards are. Look how pretty that box is. Okay, it says, move this aside, no, switch out papers here. It says, with love plus grateful, or with love plus gratitude. And this starts August 11th, which is just a few days ago, and it runs until September 10th. So this would be our September Paper Pumpkin. I always get confused. So it says, make elegant treat boxes and note cards with this unique Paper Pumpkin kit inspired by Shelley and all things autumn. This kit includes 8 treat boxes, 8 note cards, 8 coordinating envelopes, 1 Lost Lagoon Stampin' Spot, 1 photopolymer stamp set, specialty gold foil pieces, and detailed die cuts. Love this kit? Then you'll love the Coordinating Thoughts of Thanks journal, and it's a little journal right here. it's available as an add-on and includes 8x10 journal and 2 specialty gold foil sticker sheets, and the item number is going to be 163270, and you can get that for $15. That's an add-on, but you have to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber in order to get that. So if you sign up for the September Paper Pumpkin kit, you can also add on that little journal onto that. So that's a little added extra bonus for this month. All right. And during the month of August, Stampin' Up! Is running a special on a lot of their kits are going to be up to 30% off on their kits. So you can go into my store, and on the side column there, you'll find where it says kits, and you can scroll through that and pick out which ones appeal to you. And it's a good time to get those and maybe stock up for Christmas presents for some of your teenagers or friends for Christmas. It says, save big on the kits collection for a limited time only. Each paper crafting kit comes with everything you need to create artistically designed handmade projects, from birthday cards to festive tags, cute treat packaging to floral wreaths. You can try something new at a great discount, craft with friends, buy as gifts, or simply stock up on your favorites. Just don't miss out on this great deal. The discounted kits are only available while supplies last, so this runs until August 31st, and you can get up to 30% off on your kits. That doesn't include the Paper Pumpkin kits, though, so I wanted to throw that out so you'll know that. And during the month of August, we're still, you can redeem your coupons that you earned in July, and that was for every $50 that you spent, you got a coupon for $5. So you can, it says ready, set, redeem, so it's time to use these coupons you earned. You can redeem your $5 coupons between the 1st of August and the 31st of August. So don't forget to do that. You don't want to lose them before they expire. Also, we've still got our online exclusives going on, and it says explore our fresh selection of exclusive products in the online store. And I'm thinking, no, I don't think I'm doing any today that's the online exclusives. I don't think. I don't remember what I'm doing here, so you might want to check those out. And we've got our brand new mini catalog, which is September to December 2023. I can show you the outside of the catalog, but I cannot show you the inside of the catalog. I can show you the back side of the catalog, but I can't show you the inside of the catalog. And this is going to start September 6th. So after September 6th, I can open it up and show you. I don't know if I'm using anything from there today. No, I don't believe I am. So I can't even show you a sneak peek of new items today. I think I did last week. So I've got some more items coming in tomorrow. So probably next week I'll be using something that I'm getting new. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. Oh, and also I want to invite you to maybe get a starter kit and join my team. For $99, you get to choose $125 worth of products. And after you receive your kit and put in your first orders or following orders, you'll get a discount on all future orders that you put in. So if you have any questions on that, just reach out to me. I'm not going to go into all the details right now. But I'd love to have you on my team. You don't only get my team, but you get part of my upline and some other teams, so you get an added bonus there. So, but let's go ahead and get started. Speaking of our team members, this is from my team that I'm under is Kelly Atchison, and this is her $1 million stamp set that she was able to design. When she reached $1 million in sales, Stampin' Up! Brings you to their home office and you design your own stamp set. So that's really exciting. So we want to congratulate her being able to reach that milestone. So it says, if the crown fits to the birthday queen, and on the inside it says, you were born to be fabulous, not perfect. So that's what we're going to be our first card. And I also did that with this one I did with the bubble bath, the pink. And my previous card I did it with the lemon lolly, which are all new colors. So it's just a variation there. Alright, so we're going to start out with our card base, which is our bubble bath. And that measures 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, and then it's scored in the middle at 5 1/2 inches. So I want to burnish that edge really good, give us a good nice fold. And I'm going to set that aside because we're going to do our other layers first. I've got the bedazzling specialty paper. Let me look that up. I don't remember what it was called. I think it's bedazzling. Specialty papers, where are you? Okay, yes. Yeah, specialty papers. It's called, it's number 6 here. More Dazzle 6x6 specialty paper. And with that, you get 8 single-sided sheets, and it's 2 different colors. You get 4 of each color, which are champagne or gold. And we're using the gold today. And this measures, I got my instructions out here. The Dazzle paper measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. So we're going to go ahead and attach that to our card base. And my gold is kind of funny here, so I want to force that a little bit to lay right. Sometimes your paper trimmers, it's off just a tiny bit when you're doing your folds, but it looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue this down. I'm going to open a new bottle of glue because I've been fighting with my other one. It's getting down to the bottom. I got to shake it down all the time, so I don't want to do that while I'm doing my live. So we're just going to open a brand new bottle of our glue. And it should go a lot smoother then. So I want to put enough glue on here to hold this down because it's a little thicker paper. And we don't want our cards to fall apart. And I'm going to center that right on the front of our card base. And make sure that's centered straight. And press that down a little bit. Even with this like a glittery kind of paper, none of it comes off on your hands or anything when you're rubbing it, so you don't make a mess with it. Alright, we're going to set that aside for a moment. And we're going to take our basic white, which is 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And we're going to do some ink and blending here with our blending brushes and all. And let me bring over my supplies over here so I don't have to reach so far. I've got my mini blending brushes, and you get 3 of these in a pack. And we're going to use that next. We don't need that right now. But we're going, for our ink colors, we're going to use the Fresh Freesia, Bubble Bath, and Berry Burst are our colors. And I'm going to start out with our darkest, which is the Berry Burst at the top. And just kind of watching my screen here because I don't have a good view, only a partial. And I always tap off my brush to get some of the excess color off of it, because otherwise you're going to get some globs, which I still did a little bit, but we're going to see if we can't blend it out a little bit. And with the Berry Burst, just Rub that around. And I want to smooth out those blotches right there a little bit. Okay, I think that's good with that. And we'll close up that ink pad so we don't make a mess. And then we're going to do the bubble bath. That's one of our new colors. And again, I'm going to tap off a bit. We're going to do the center. And a little bit more here. So, like I said, be sure you comment when you come on. Say hello. And be sure that you like and share the video with your friends and family. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, be sure you hit that subscribe button that's right below. And be sure you hit that little bell so that you'll be notified when I upload new videos each week. Okay, so we're going to close up our bubble bath and we're going to switch to our fresh freesia. And again, we're going to do the bottom portion of our white paper. And let me turn this around so I can So we're going to do some heat embossing on the top of this after we get this all colored. A little piece of hair right there that keeps wanting to jump onto my paper. It may be a cookie hair, my dog's hair. It's black and short, so I'm thinking that's what it is. Alright, is that enough? I want just a tiny bit more. There, now it's coming together better. Okay, so we're done with our blending brushes. Trying to put where to put everything so I don't make a mess and everything tumbles to the floor. Alright, so I'm going to get rid of my inky paper. Throw that in my trash can. And I'm going to bring another sheet of scrap paper over here so we can do our heat embossing. So I've got all my stamps mounted already, so we're going to start out with our crown. And first I'm going to take my embossing buddy, which is just, it's got powder in it, so it gets rid of any static cling that might be on your paper, so from the oils of your fingers and whatnot. We don't want that embossing folder to stick where we don't want it to stick, so that kind of gets rid of all that. I'm going to get I'm going to use gold embossing powder and my Versamark ink pad. Let me close up this blue bottle. And then we're going to, I'm trying to get everything on the screen so you can see it here. There we go. We're going to use a Versamark ink to ink up our crown. It's going to go at the top portion of our card. And we're going to stamp that on the upper center. Oh, and I should have used my piercing mat. We're doing photopolymer stamps, so we want to get a little cushion underneath it. And then we're going to put, if the crown fits, right up underneath the crown. And it's kind of hard to see, but we're going to kind of guess that's where it is. Okay, so I want to go ahead and emboss these right now so I can see where everything is. It's kind of hard to see it. The embossing is kind of clear. I don't know if the camera's even going to pick it up. So we're going to go with our gold embossing powder, and we're going to dump that onto our paper. Well, why is that all sticking there? Uh-oh. I never had that happen before. Maybe my ink was still wet. I don't know. I don't want to start over. I'm getting a brush and see if I can't salvage it enough. I think my ink might have been wet yet. No. Let me do something here. I might be able to wipe it all off and start over. Yeah, I bet my ink was still wet. That's why it's doing that. Let me dump this back in my jar, and then I'm going to use my heat gun to dry my ink all the way. I think that's the problem. I never had that happen, but I guess I usually wait a little bit. I don't get right at it. I'm going to turn my heat gun on and dry that ink a little bit. Should be better. Let's try this again. And bring our crown back over here. I think I'm going to do each one separately. Probably got my head in view there. And let's try the embossing powder again. And a little more. Usually I try doing it twice to make sure I get good coverage. And we're going to just dump the embossing powder back into our jar. And do, if the crown fits, right underneath there again. Just trying to get rid of that excess powder there. Only on camera we have issues. Alright, and if the crown fits, And you want to make sure you cover your Versamark pad up before you start with your powder, otherwise it's liable to get into your pad. You don't want that to happen. Well, I don't like how that one's stamping. Probably because I had the other underneath it. I don't want to start all over. But let me see. Okay, and this one is to the birthday queen. We're going to put that on the side. In the middle. Hi Amber, how are you doing today? Good to see you. We're just having some issues with our embossing today. I think because my ink was wet when I tried to do it. I should have let it dry. But we're going to make it work. And we're going to use this little feller. It looks like a question mark kind of, but it's a star swirls. And that's going to go bottom portion here. And a little bit more there. And we're going to stamp our little crown, our little wand. So here's the little star portion. And the handle to the wand. And it's hard to see. Where is it? I think I better do my gold on there so I can see where it is. And okay, now I kind of made a mess out of this one, but we'll get the gist of the whole thing anyway. Alright, put the lid back on the Versamark and cover up the embossing powder jar. And we can bring over our heat gun and start our embossing powder. And hopefully it looks fairly decent, that I didn't mess it up too much, and I'm curling my paper, so I'm going to fold it and emboss it. I love embossing. It always fascinates me, the magic when it turns. So when the embossing powder turns shiny, then you know that it's done. And make sure you don't overdo it, because you can burn your embossing powder or your paper. As soon as it starts turning shiny, then it's done. So just move on to the next portion. It's getting kind of warm on my fingers. I've got to rearrange here. There we go. We're going to do the crown. Okay. It doesn't look too bad, I guess. Alright, so there we have our embossed layer. It says that the crown fits to the birthday queen. And I also want to do the inside of the card as long as we're doing our embossing. Our inside is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and it's just our basic weight. And I want to use my embossing buddy again to get rid of any static cling that might be on our cardstock. And then I'm going to come over with our inside sentiment, which is, it says, "You were born to be fabulous." Whoops, there goes my heat gun right in my trash can. Come back here, little guy. All right, we're going to take our Versamark pad again, and we're going to stamp our sentiment on the inside so we can heat emboss that. And we're going to kind of center that, the upper portion of our cardstock. And I'm going to bring our paper back over here. And we're going to dump our embossing powder on that. And again, I do it a couple of times. I want to make sure I've got good coverage of it. Okay, that looks good. And now I want to also stamp some little stars, which is using this little one. I don't know if it shows in the camera. You can see it better after I emboss it. And I'm going to put one upper right hand corner and then another one at the bottom corner. And we're going to add some more embossing powder to cover those. And maybe a little extra on that one. Yeah, let's do both of them. And let's dump all of our embossing powder back in our jar. And we'll set that aside. We're finished with that. And now we're going to emboss our inside sentiment. Make sure you're on camera. Bad shadow. Okay, that's finished. And we can go ahead and attach these. Let's go ahead and put our front one on first. And bring our liquid glue over here. And I want to make sure I get enough glue on there so it's going to stick to that specialty paper. It's a little thicker than our normal cardstock, so I want to make sure that it attaches good. And we're just going to center that on the front of that dazzle paper. And give it a good rub. Okay, and then for our inside, we're going to do the same. Okay. And center that on the inside. Okay, it's wanting to bend a little bit because of the heating of the paper, so that'll straighten out after a bit. Okay, so there's our first card. If the crown fits, to the birthday queen. You were born to be fabulous, not perfect. So that was our card that came from the Friendship Royalty. And this is Kelly Atchison's $1 Million stamp set, which she's my team leader. Hi, Brenda. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Oh, glad you liked the card, even if I did mess it up a little bit. Okay, let's go on to our second card. Let me kind of move things out of the way here a little bit. Make some room. And my orientation's messed up on my video too, so I apologize for that. It's supposed to be going landscape and it wants to go horizontal. I don't know why it doesn't want to turn for me. But here's our second card. It says, you're a great friend. And I've got a little fuzz right there. And on the inside it says, you make my life happier. So let me get all of our bits and pieces out for that. My instructions, I might need those. We're going to start out with our card base, which is our Lost Lagoon cardstock, and it measures 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, and then it's scored in the middle at 5 1/2 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish that edge really good. And we're going to set that card base aside for a moment, and that's the inside. We don't need that right now. I'm going to start out with our card front, which is going to be our basic white, and that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And I'm going to stamp that, and then I'm going to emboss that. Let me get rid of some powder off of my work surface here. I can feel it, embossing powder. And our stamps. That over here. The stamp set that we're using is the Gorgeously Made, and that's a bundle with the dies, Gorgeously Made dies. And so that's what we're using today. And I'm also using a sentiment that comes from the Very Best Occasions. So those are the stamp sets that we're using. And our ink is going to be Lost Lagoon. This is a returning color that we had from before that had retired. So I want to bring that scrap paper back over here to stamp on. I don't think with all the powder on it's going to hurt. Well, maybe I better switch it out. I don't need to make a mess. Let me grab some more scrap paper. Lay underneath that, keep my surface clean. Alright, we're going to take these words, and that's in the stamp set. Probably show you better on the stamp set itself. These here, right here, looks like some words, but you can't really read it. You can read some letters, but it's not really anything that you can read otherwise. And I'm going to stamp onto our basic white, our 4 inch by 5 1/4 inch. And I'm just going to do random stamping. I'm just going to do a little bit here and there. And no rhyme or reason really, because we're going to emboss this afterwards. And maybe right there. And maybe another one right there. And just a portion right there. And the same here. I'm trying to get my paper to sit still. It's not cooperating. All right, I think that's good. So we're going to set that aside. And I'm going to run this through my embossing machine, but I'm not going to bring it over to me. It's my bigger boss, so I'm just going to reach over here and do it off camera. I think everybody knows how to use the embossing machine, cut and emboss machine. It might help I put it in the embossing folder. We're using the exposed brick embossing folder. You can kind of see it. You probably see it better after I emboss it. And I'm just going to get that all lined up here. And now I can put it to my machine. And I hope it doesn't. What's going on? It's supposed to go through there. And I have too many plates out. I forgot to take one plate off. You want to use just your base plate and then your number 4 gray plate when you're doing the 3D embossing folders. That's what happened. I forgot to remove a plate. It was too thick, it wouldn't go through. And there we go. So here's what it looks like after you've embossed it. And when you're going to emboss a layer of paper, you want to do your stamping first. So we can go ahead and attach that to the front of our card. With our liquid glue or any adhesive that you may want to choose to use. Like I said, the Tombow glue, the liquid glue, is my adhesive of choice. So that's what I usually grab. I do use the Stampin' seal runners sometimes, but more often than not, I grab the Tombow glue. With the humidity here in Arkansas, the liquid glue seems to hold better and last longer than what the adhesive strips do. Alright, so there's our card front so far. Let's go ahead and get our other pieces here. I've got our designer series paper, which comes from the Inked Botanicals. And I'm using this one right here. I don't know if you can see it very well. And I've cut that at 3 1/4 inches by 4 1/2 inches. And then I used my die that's in the Gorgeously Made dies. This, I need both of those out, so I'll grab both of them. I used this one at the bottom layer. Is that showing on camera? Yeah. See if I can match it up right there to cut off the bottom portion. And then I used this at the top to be able to cut off our, it looks like notebook paper, kind of, where you tear it out of the binders. So those are the 2 dies that are in there that we used. And I did that on both the white and the designer series paper. And the white layer is a little bit shorter. It's 3 1/4 inches by 4 1/4 inches, where this is 4 1/2 inches. So the white layer is a little bit shorter. So I'm going to do some stamping on this white layer. So I'm going to bring my paper back over here because we're going to run off the edge of our paper. And I'm going to use this leaf that's in that same stamp set to stamp our leaf on there. Using the Lost Lagoon. I'm going to ink that up really good. Got a dog here that keeps wanting to jump back on my paper here. It needs to leave town. All right, we're going to stamp that off to the right side a little bit and kind of angle it. And I'm just going to press that down and give it time to soak into the paper. That looks good. And while we're at that, we could go ahead and stamp our sentiment. I've got just a scrap of basic white, and we're going to stamp "You're a Great Friend," and we're using the Lost Lagoon again. And stamp that right onto our layer here. And I've got a little smudge there. I'm wondering if that I might die cut that out, but I don't want to chance it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my paper over and restamp that. I got a little shadow there. I guess I rocked my stamp when I shouldn't have. There we go. That's better. Much better. And set that aside. So we're going to start layering here. And I'm going to bring my card base back over here. And I'm going to kind of put these at an angle with the white one on top of the Designer Series paper. So we're just going to glue that down with our liquid glue again. This is the back side. It's kind of pretty too. And I'm just going to put it at an angle a little bit across the front. And then let's add our white layer on top of that. And I'm going to angle that a little bit. So you have just a portion of that bottom of that Designer Series paper showing through. All right, and then I've already die cut our flower, and I used the same Designer Series paper to cut that out with. Let me get my take your pick tool over here to pop those out, and I want to knock out all that excess that we don't need. Clean it up a little bit. And using those little holes to poke the paper out to make it release. And get up underneath it very carefully and pull it out. And then we have our die cut layer, and we're going to take our liquid glue and we're going to attach that down on top of our card front. And I'm just trying to get a little bit of glue on these without making too much of a glue mess. Hope everybody's having a good day today. Mine's been pretty good. I can't complain any. And a little bit more over here. And we're going to put that down at an angle off to the left side of our stamped image. And hold that for a moment to make sure it attaches. Okay. Put my glue away again. Get rid of all of our little bits here that popped out of there that we didn't need. Alright, and we're going to bring over our baby boss because we're going to die cut the label out for this little sentiment that's going to go on the front of our card. And this is our Boho Blue mini boss, cut and emboss machine that's still available. And here's the die that we're going to be using. So I'm going to go ahead and get that put on there and die cut. And that looks fairly straight, but I'm going to grab some washi tape to hold it in place so it doesn't move on me. And I think it just did when I put that down. Let's do this again. Alright, and bring our top plate up here. And we'll just run this through. Try not to jiggle the camera too much. There's that baby boss over there. And there's our sentiment that's die cut. And put our die back in there so we don't lose it. And I've got some baker's twine that I made a bow with, and we're going to place that down across our flower using a mini glue dot. And I think I want to put it right there. And I made a double bow with our baker's twine. Straighten it out a little bit here. I'm going to kind of put it sideways because our sentiment's going to go right across the top of that. And I'm going to place that up on some Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm going to put one at each end of that. And using my Take Your Pick tool to pop those backings off. And we'll just place that over our flower and our little bow. And then to add a little bit of bling, we're going to come back in here with our brushed brass butterflies. We're going to add one butterfly and 2 of our glossy dots. So let me take off a small butterfly, and we're going to place that little butterfly right here between our 2 flowers. And then we're going to grab some of these, which are the Glossy Dots assortment. And this isn't Lost Lagoon, but it's pretty close to this, so that's what we're going to use. I'm going to use 2 of the larger ones. If I can get it off the paper, I will. And it's messing up my... Gotta get some more putty out here to grab that with. I might be almost out. Nope, there it comes. Let me try this one up here. Maybe it'll come off easier. Yeah. So I'm going to put one right there. And another one, we'll put where do I want it? Do I want it there? They're right there. And I guess I did do 3 on here. I didn't think I did. We'll put another right there. Okay, so here's the front of our card. And then for the inside, this is for the inside. That's our basic white. It's 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And then I've got a strip of the Designer Series paper that is a 1/2 inch, and it'll be 5 1/4 inches to go along the edge. And we're going to go ahead and stamp that with our sentiment, which is "You make my life happier." And remember, that came from the Very Best Occasion stamp set. Where is it? It's right here. So I'm going to use our Lost the Green ink again to stamp that with. And we're just going to stamp that upper center. Close up that ink pad. And then I'm going to take our strip of Designer Series paper. I'm going to attach that to our left side of our cardstock. And I always like to leave mine a little longer because I'd rather trim off the edges than having to try to add more. It's better to be too long than too short. And I'll get my paper snips here and snip that off. And then we're going to adhere that to the inside of our card. It sure is quiet today. And there we have it. Looking forward to getting my pre-order order in tomorrow. I'm anxious to play with new items. It's just like Christmas when that happens. Getting new stuff to play with, new toys. Alright, so there's our card, and my bow doesn't want to lay right. It says, you're a great friend, you make my life happier. Okay, so that's our second card. And let me scooch some things out of the way here, make room. And I'm going to pick up a little bit here before I go on to our third. We'll put that in our magnetic bowl there. And our second card, we're going to be using the Let's Go Fishing paper. Let me move some things here. And this is our card. It's a happy birthday card for a guy or girls. Girls go fishing too. It says happy birthday. And on the inside it says hip hip hooray. And like I said, we're using the Let's Go Fishing Designer Series paper. And we're using this paper here and also this one right here. And a little bit of this for our tag. So we'll set that aside. And here's the stamp set, and you can bundle that along with the dies that go with that. It's Gone Fishing. I'm not showing it on the camera very well because I don't have a wide view at all. So, and also for the inside, we're using the Good Feelings stamp set, and we're using the Hip Hip Hooray as the inside sentiment. So let's go ahead and get started with that. And I'm also using the Tailored Made tags, and we're using the smallest tag for the happy birthday sentiment. Alright, we'll get all of our bits and pieces, our instructions and everything out here. Set put everything up here as I've got it. And our little bowl. Okay, so our card base is going to be, this is our Azure Afternoon, and it's 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, and then it's scored in the middle at 5 1/2. And I just noticed that I'm doing all my cards with this orientation, so I didn't realize I had until I started looking at them. They're all free like this. But I think this is probably my favorite fold, I think. I use it more often. Okay, like I said, that was 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, and it's scored in the center at 5 1/2 inches, and we burnished the edge of that. And our designer series paper is, this one is 4 1/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches. And then I've got another Azure Afternoon cardstock, and that measures 3 1/4 inches by 4 inches. That's going to be our little mat that goes on top of that. And then our designer series paper, we've got 3 1 inch by 3 7/8 inches, and that's going to layer on top of our smaller cardstock here. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those down so I can get those out of the way. And they're all 1 inch, and you want to lay them so that they kind of match up as you cut them, which you'll see here. They all kind of match up. So I'm going to start with the one on the left side first. Glue that down. And I'm going to leave just a small edge going around in between and all around them. And I like to do my outside layers first. I'll move that out of the way for a moment. And I'm not going to stick this one down really good in case I gotta move it any. So I'm just going to kind of lay it there lightly. And then we're going to do the one in the center. And leave a border in between each one. And am I straight? No, I think I'm straight. See, if you don't press down on that, you've got time to move this around a little bit. That's the glory of the liquid glue. Alright, so that looks good. So I'm going to put that up on dimensionals. And I'm going to put one on each corner and then one in the center to help support it. You could put more if you wanted to, but I think just like that's good enough. So I'm going to take our designer series paper, our larger one. I'm going to glue that to the card base. And let's spot of glue there. Wipe up with our finger. And we're just going to leave a small, tiny edge going all around it. And that to line up really good. Alright, and now we can take our dimensional backings off. And pop those up with my take your pick tool because I've got no fingernails to grab them. That works really good. And we're going to center that on the front of our card. Whoops. Better make sure you got them going the right direction. I had them upside down. Glad I caught that. So we're going to center that on the front of our card. And I've already die cut our little label tag here, and that's what we're going to stamp our happy birthday sentiment on. So we're going to do that using which color ink I used. No, I think I just used the Memento Black. That's what we used. And bring the sentiment over here. And this one for the inside. So happy birthday. You could use any greeting that you wanted. It doesn't have to be a birthday card. You could do a thanking of you or anything. And I'm going to put that off to the right side of our tag. Close that up until we need it for the inside. We're going to do the outside first. And we're going to glue that down to the front of our card. Just a little bit of liquid glue. Or you could use glue dots or anything. And try and decide where I want it, maybe right there. And then I've already gone ahead and die cut our lures out already. I didn't want you to sit and watch me do that. We're going to assemble them here. And we've got, this is our silver foil paper. We've cut that die out. And then I've also cut it out with the Azure Afternoon. And we've got another lure here that I just cut out of our Berry Vanilla and stamped it. So I'm going to start putting these together. And this goes onto this. And I'm wondering, maybe a little glue dot would work better. Where my glue dot's at. Might be faster than trying to mess with the glue here. I'm going to turn that over. And I'm going to use this little blue one. I did one blue and then I did one with the silver paper. And let me use my, oops, knocked my phone on the floor. And we're going to grab our silicone mat here to work on. And then we're going to take one of those hooks that I cut out with the silver paper also. And we're going to push that in there. And I want another mini glue dot to grab hold of that so it doesn't run off on me. To hold it in place. And then we can add that to the card front. And I think I'm going to place that one in the center. Yeah. I'm trying to move that out a little bit. And use more mini glue dots, and we'll use that to attach our lures to our card fronts. And let's put another one on there just to make sure it stays. I'm trying to match up the hole of the lure with the hole of the tag a little bit. Alright, we're going to take the blue one. I guess that should have been the first one. We'll switch up a little bit here, doesn't matter. Glue dot again. And we're going to use the silver portion of this one instead of the blue. And grab that hook. slip that through. Well, maybe we will. Maybe just put it up underneath it. There we go. And some more glue dots to hold that in place. And I think I want to slip that up underneath that other one. That's the way I wanted it before. Okay. And then next we got our other lure. And I might as well use a mini glue dot for that also, as long as we're using them. And place that right on top of the other one. And then we've got some linen thread that we made into a double bow, and we're going to attach that right in the center of our lures. With the mini glue dots. Okay, and of course we need a little bit of bling, so let's get our rhinestones. I thought I had them, oh, but I guess I didn't. Here they are. I always do mine in odd numbers, so I'm going to do 3. And I think I'm going to go with the medium size to start with. And I'm going to put a medium-sized one right on the little tag there. And then we're going to do 2 small ones. So maybe one right there and another over here. Alright, so here's the front of our card. Now we can do the inside, which is, we're using Very Vanilla 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And I'm going to stamp Hip Hip Hooray on the inside using black memento ink. And we'll just ink that up really good. And stamp that in the center. And then I've got a little strip of that blue Designer Series paper that we're going to put along the bottom edge, just to dress it up a little bit. And this is a 1/2 inch by 4 inches. And I'm going to leave just a tiny border at the bottom. Just so the, see a little bit of it peeking out. Not much, just a little bit. And it was right on the money. I don't even trim that off. So let's put this on the inside of our card. Okay. Is that straight? It's pretty straight. And I got a glue smudge there, so I'm going to bring in my adhesive eraser and get rid of that smudge. I had an overrun of glue here. So I want to get that out so it doesn't stick to my card. There we go. Okay, so there's our third and final card. So let me bring all of our cards out today. Clean up my mess a little bit. So, and I'm not going to be able to put all three to be able to see them. So let me see what I can do here. Now here's our first card. I guess I have to do them one by one. It's our first card, and I've sure got a shadow. I guess that's my lighting today. It says, if the crown fits, to the birthday queen. And on the inside, you were born to be fabulous, not perfect. And then our second card is, you're a great friend. See if I can get a bigger view of it. Okay. And you make my life happier. And then our third and final card is happy birthday. And this is using the Gone Fishing bundle. And hip hip hooray. So I hope you enjoyed those cards today. And again, I apologize for our technical issues. And I hope that you share the video and like it. And if you're watching it on YouTube later today, I hope you'll hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And click that little bell so that you'll be notified when I put up new videos each week. And I try to do one every Wednesday, so our next video will be next Wednesday, August 23rd at 1 o'clock Central Time. So I hope you'll be able to be there, and if not, I hope you'll watch the replay. And if you're watching the replay, you can still like and share the video on there also. I'd really appreciate it. So until then, I want to say goodbye. Thank you for being here today. Y'all have a good rest of the week. And I hope you get time in there to be able to do some cards or any other kind of scrapping. I know we have some scrapbookers too that all these stamp sets work for that also. All of our inks and papers and everything. So it's not just card making, it's any kind of paper crafting. So I want to say goodbye. And until then, have a good week and take care. Bye-bye.